Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. A euphemism for defecation. He had a bowel movement. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. He was a charter member of the movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The succession of flashing lights gave an illusion of movement. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A general tendency to change, as of opinion. A broad movement of the electorate to the right. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. The movement to end slavery. A major self-contained part of a symphony or sonata. The second movement is slow and melodic. The act of changing the location of something. The movement of cargo onto the vessel. The driving and regulating parts of a mechanism, as of a watch or clock. It was an expensive watch with a diamond movement. The act of changing location from one place to another. Police controlled the motion of the crowd. Show, express or direct through movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The cinema relies on apparent motion. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A formal proposal for action made to a deliberative assembly for discussion and vote. He made a motion to adjourn. The use of movements, especially of the hands, to communicate familiar or prearranged signals. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. The reflex motion of his eyebrows revealed his surprise. A state of change. They were in a state of steady motion. Give an incentive for action. This moved me to sacrifice my career. Be in a state of action. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. The soldiers moved towards the city in an attempt to take it before night fell. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. The director moved more responsibilities onto his new assistant. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. We must move quickly. The act of changing your residence or place of business. They say that 3 moves equal 1 fire. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon. Follow a procedure or take a course. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. Progress by being changed. Propose formally. In a debate or parliamentary meeting. Arouse sympathy or compassion in. Her fate moved us all. Change residence, affiliation, or place of employment. We moved from Idaho to Nebraska. Dispose of by selling. The chairman of the company told the salesman to move the computers. game, a player's turn to take some action permitted by the rules of the game. Go or proceed from one point to another. The debate moved from family values to the economy. Live one's life in a specified environment. She moves in certain circles only. Move so as to change position, perform a non-translational motion. He moved his hand slightly to the right. The act of deciding to do something. He didn't make a move to help. A euphemism for defecation. Solid excretory product evacuated from the bowels. A euphemism for defecation. He had a bowel movement. The side that is forward or prominent. A person used as a cover for some questionable activity. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. He led the National Liberation Front. Be oriented in a certain direction, often with respect to another reference point, be opposite to. The immediate proximity of someone or something. He was well behaved in front of company. Confront bodily. The line along which opposing armies face each other. A sphere of activity involving effort. The Japanese were active last week on the diplomatic front. Meteorology, the atmospheric phenomenon created at the boundary between two different air masses. Relating to or located in the front. The front lines. The outward appearance of a person. He put up a bold front. The part of something that is nearest to the normal viewer. He walked to the front of the stage. The side that is seen or that goes first. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The cinema relies on apparent motion. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. Live unhurriedly, irresponsibly, or freely. My son drifted around for years in California before going to law school. The pervading meaning or tenor. Caught the general drift of the conversation. Be in motion due to some air or water current. The boat drifted on the lake. A force that moves something along. A general tendency to change, as of opinion. Move about aimlessly or without any destination, often in search of food or employment. The laborers drift from one town to the next. Wander from a direct course or at random. Don't drift from the set course. A horizontal, or nearly horizontal, passageway in a mine. They dug a drift parallel with the vein. A large mass of material that is heaped up by the wind or by water currents. A process of linguistic change over a period of time. Be piled up in banks or heaps by the force of wind or a current. Snow drifting several feet high. Be subject to fluctuation. The stock market drifted upward. Cause to be carried by a current. Drift the boats downstream. Drive slowly and far afield for grazing. Drift the cattle herds westwards. Move in an unhurried fashion. The unknown young man drifted among the invited guests. The gradual departure from an intended course due to external influences, as a ship or plane. Vary or move from a fixed point or course. Stock prices are drifting higher. General line of orientation. The northeastern trend of the coast. The popular taste at a given time. He followed current trends. A general direction in which something tends to move. The trend of the stock market. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. A general tendency to change, as of opinion. Not openly liberal, but that is the trend of the book. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Gastrointestinal motility. Ability to move spontaneously and independently. Several related operations aimed at achieving a particular goal, usually within geographical and temporal constraints. Go on a campaign. Go off to war. Run, stand, or compete for an office or a position. A race between candidates for elective office. I managed his campaign for governor. An overland journey by hunters, especially in Africa. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. He supported populist campaigns. Any entity that produces an effect or is responsible for events or results. Give rise to. Cause to happen or occur, not always intentionally. Cause a commotion. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. Cause to do. Cause to act in a specified manner. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. They worked in the cause of world peace. A justification for something existing or happening. He had no cause to complain. Events that provide the generative force that is the origin of something. They are trying to determine the cause of the crash. Exert oneself continuously, vigorously, or obtrusively to gain an end or engage in a crusade for a certain cause or person. Be an advocate for. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. Any of the more or less continuous military expeditions in the 11th to 13th centuries when Christian powers of Europe tried to recapture the Holy Land from the Muslims. Go on a crusade. Fight a holy war. Hitting a golf ball off of a tee with a driver. He sliced his drive out of bounds. The act of applying force to propel something. After reaching the desired velocity, the drive is cut off. A journey in a vehicle, usually an automobile. He took the family for a drive in his new car. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. He drives me mad. Have certain properties when driven. My new truck drives well. Move into a desired direction of discourse. A road leading up to a private house. They parked in the driveway. Cause to move back by force or influence. Strive and make an effort to reach a goal. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. The team was ready for a drive toward the pennant. A wide scenic road planted with trees. The Riverside Drive offers many exciting scenic views. travel or be transported in a vehicle. Proceed along in a vehicle. We drive the turnpike to work. A mechanism by which force or power is transmitted in a machine. A variable speed drive permitted operation through a range of speeds. A physiological state corresponding to a strong need or desire. Cause someone or something to move by driving. Cause to function by supplying the force or power for or by controlling. The amplifier drives the tube. Cause to move rapidly by striking or throwing with force. Drive the ball far out into the field. Compel somebody to do something, often against his own will or judgment. Computer science. A device that writes data onto or reads data from a storage medium. Excavate horizontally. Drive a tunnel. Hit very hard, as by swinging a bat horizontally. Drive a ball. Hunting, chase from cover into more open ground. Drive the game. Hunting, search for game. Drive the forest. Move by being propelled by a force. Operate or control a vehicle. Drive a car or bus. Push, propel, or press with force. Sports. A hard straight return, as in tennis or squash. Strike with a driver, as in teeing off. Drive a golf ball. The act of driving a herd of animals overland. The trait of being highly motivated. His drive and energy exhausted his coworkers. To compel or force or urge relentlessly or exert coercive pressure on, or motivate strongly. She is driven by her passion. Urge forward. Drive the cows into the barn. Work as a driver. He drives a bread truck. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. Made an effort to cover all the reading material. Use of physical or mental energy, hard work. He got an A for effort. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. Contributed to the war effort. A notable achievement. The book was her finest effort. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. The elimination of fecal waste through the anus. The elimination of fecal waste through the anus. The elimination of fecal waste through the anus. The act of making something less tight. People sharing some social relation. An optical phenomenon that results in a false or deceptive visual impression. An event that happens. An event that happens. Presently occurring, either causally or incidentally. Technical terms are rarely occurrent in literature. An event that happens. An instance of something occurring. A disease of frequent occurrence. An event that happens. Your usual mood. He has a happy disposition. An attitude of mind, especially one that favors one alternative over others. The act or means of getting rid of something. A natural or acquired habit or characteristic tendency in a person or thing. A swelling with a disposition to rupture. A general direction in which something tends to move. The shoreward tendency of the current. An attitude of mind, especially one that favors one alternative over others. A tendency to be too strict. A characteristic likelihood of or natural disposition toward a certain condition or character or effect. Fabric with a tendency to shrink. An inclination to do something. Geometry. The angle formed by the x-axis and a given line, measured counterclockwise from the positive half of the x-axis. An attitude of mind, especially one that favors one alternative over others. He had an inclination to give up too easily. Astronomy. The angle between the plane of the orbit and the plane of the ecliptic stated in degrees. The property possessed by a line or surface that departs from the vertical. He walked with a heavy inclination to the right. A characteristic likelihood of or natural disposition toward a certain condition or character or effect. The alkaline inclination of the local waters. Physics. The angle that a magnetic needle makes with the plane of the horizon. The act of inclining, bending forward. An inclination of his head indicated his agreement. That toward which you are inclined to feel a liking. Her inclination is for classical music. An investment that is very risky but could yield great profits. Proceed somewhere despite the risk of possible dangers. We ventured into the world of high-tech and bought a supercomputer. put at risk. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. A commercial undertaking that risks a loss but promises a profit. Any venturesome undertaking, especially one with an uncertain outcome.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.